Hi, my name is Erin Hogan with the 7th Bone Tailoring team, and today I'm going to teach you how to enlarge the pockets of your favorite coat so you can fit everything you want in your pocket. This is my favorite spring coat. It's a sample from Alexander Plokov, amazing menswear designer. But the problem with samples is often the pockets are too small. They're not production size. And this happens a lot in every coat. You have a great coat, you can't fit your things in it. So we're going to do a little bit of pattern and a little bit of sewing, and we're going to create a custom pocket bag to fit everything I want to carry. So you're going to take some paper and have it be bigger than we need because we'll trim it away. And what you want to do is you're going to fold it up. Now we have to consider gravity when we're making pockets because anything in your pocket's going to fall down. So we want a straight edge on the bottom that's going to come up from the hem. Here's our old pocket bag. So place this around that area. Now take everything you want in this pocket and dump it on there. This is the bottom of our bag, that folded edge. You're going to take a pencil and just trace around it. You want about 3/4 of an inch to an inch on each side. Now take a look at the reality of your pocket. So this is the bottom of the welt. This is where the hand goes in, and there's another opening point here. So you're only going to get your hand in that point. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually cut off this pocket bag and add more. To do this, we're going to respect gravity. Your grain line, and you can draw it on this pocket bag, is going to come up perpendicular from the hem. All fabric has grain, and you have to follow it because that's the way gravity wants to go. So I'm going to cut my pocket this way. Now, this was the top of my book. I want to make sure that it's going to clear where the welt is by about 3/4 of an inch. And we're going to add our own grain line on here. Match up the grain lines. And you're going to keep note of where that welt is going to want to connect. So now we figured out basically where we're going to cut it, and we figured out the basic shape. Now we're going to figure out how we're going to make these two shapes combine. So what I want you to do is to trace where they hit. We're keeping the cut line and the grain lines as our point of reference. The shape of my pocket, it shifted a little bit. I have to follow this because there's no fabric there. I'm not going to add any more. Also the welt's there so you won't get any space. Now take a French curve. Go ahead and draw that line down to the bottom. But now, my book, I want it to fit. It was fitting perfectly there, so you know what? We just need to adjust it. So the new edge is going to come over here. So same thing. We have our point of cut line, grain line, match. The shape's coming here. To have it fit my book, I'll take a French curve and continue that line this way. And draw it down. Let me clean this pattern up for you. This line is our grain line. This is our new cut line. If you miss a little bit, you can add it when you're cutting out the fabric. To figure out the seam allowances our designers used, we're going to do something brave. We're going to go ahead and choose a seam allowance of 1 inch and cut. That was very brave. So remember, that's our seam allowance. This is our finished edge. Cut, cut. So now, start to pick apart or use a razor blade to open up your pocket bag. Now, we're going to look on the inside and see what did the designer do, and whatever they did, we're going to copy. So they're using a raw edge inside this pocket bag. It's folded over, and it was top stitched together, and they use a seam allowance of 1/4. So that's what we're going to do. Back to our pattern. We're going to add the 1/4 seam allowance to our pattern. Whenever you're going to work with a pattern and you're going to cut it on the double, you want to pin the paper together so it doesn't shift when you're cutting it. Only use paper scissors for cutting paper. This edge where I'm missing some, just cut as if it would be there. This is all going to be top stitched together. That will be top stitched right to here, and we can drop it down 1/4 for that stitch line. Okay, so now we're ready to choose our fabric. I'm going to use pocketing fabric. Pocketing fabric is a term in the tailoring world for a cotton twill. This is a fabric that you're going to find in custom men's trousers. Basically, the idea is you want anything that's going to be strong. So the grain line is here, so we can fold it and match this edge. And let's go ahead and press this in. Piece that we're missing, draw it in here. So we're going to sew it right sides to right sides, and then we're going to flip it inside out, and then we'll be able to attach it to the cutoff point. I'm going to use a universal needle, a 9014 ballpoint, some regular thread. I am going to use a number 1 stitch. I'm going to make the stitches smaller than a 2, because you really want this to hold tight. Press it flat first. These boards are great. You can use the corner of it to really get in there. Use a pin to pull out the corners. And then we're going to press it flat. Now we're going to figure out how to make this fit here. We know that the cut line and the cut line match. So let's use the iron to go ahead and create a new finish line for us. I'm going to take an ironing pad, put it under, and the whole time you're watching for that grain line. We can even draw it on. Now what we did to one side, we can use our iron to do to the other. We're going to end up top stitching this entire bag back together. So we can cut open just a little bit here, so we can finesse these points into matching. So you want to think about the way that the machine's going to come through, which is this way. Because we're going to top stitch all of this pocket together and go ahead and pin, matching our edges. And we're only pinning one layer of the bag right now. So because we're top stitching, we can use a little bit longer, a 3. And you're going to kick back that edge, bring it up here, and we're only sewing the one side together. Don't close your bag. And back stitch. We're going to do the same for the back side. You're going to go ahead and you're going to open up just a little bit what you already did before. So again, you're just going to sew the one piece together. Alright, we've done some unconventional sewing to create our pocket bag. We've added the facing, and now I needed to open this up a little bit in order to stitch the back of here. Now this is a great move because we were able to press a perfect shape, and we're going to use top stitch then to close everything. So even though we're going to have to take some time and clean out these threads, the end look is worth it. It helps to use lint rollers when you're doing thread work. We're going to top stitch all the way around, even at the bottom, to reinforce strength here so our keys don't poke down and make a hole. Start about an inch back from where the seam is open. Drop your needle, hold your thread. I'm stitching about 1/8 of an inch from the edge, using the foot as a guide. To turn a corner, drop your thread, pivot. Keep the needle sunk. My machine actually has needle up, needle down, so I can keep going and it will stop. One more. Yeah. Over this bulk, if I lift up and use seam ripper or shears to press that down, it helps to smooth it out so it doesn't get caught or backed up. And keep going about an inch past anything that is open. With your threads. Ta-da! Now this might seem a little bulky, but as a New Yorker, I am thankful for all that this can hold. Thank you for watching how to customize your pockets. Stay tuned to Bernina'sWeAlSew.com for more tips from the 7th Bone Tailoring team.